A major fund just went down. Leopold, situational awareness, is unwinding trades and may be forced to liquidate their assets. Now, I want to talk about this. Prime brokers, including Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, have reportedly been working with the fund to reduce positions and meet margin requirements. Why is this so important? Well, Leopold is a huge fund that has come under major stress and has been selling assets. Now, the rumor that goes around is that they likely exited all their positions in their stock public portfolio. Now, there's a couple of key things to watch for. Their public stock portfolio is likely being liquidated or has been completely liquidated, and the ones helping them liquidate this is prime brokers, including Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan. Now, why is that important that nobody talks about? Well, these prime brokers can hold orders. These prime brokers can slowly delay orders. On top of that, when one fund goes down, what do you think happens to another fund? Another fund goes down. It's a cascade event. It's something like we've seen time and time again. Okay, lottery stocks, what is this? Plain English, please explain it. Okay, have they exited all of their assets? We cannot say for certain, but to the tune of multiple billions of dollars being liquidated in these markets can be dumped on you and I, retail investors, as we see these dead cat bounce across the board. We see Microsoft up 15%. APLD up 20%, AMD up 15%, Bloom Energy up 30%, NBIS up 30%. The list goes on and on and on. And we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Bank of Japan. We have Bank of Japan's rate decision tomorrow, and we're already seeing what looks to be an intervention in the currency. Now, just to clear things up, we're going to cover that a little bit more throughout the video and kind of give you the massive warning. The warning across the board is leverage. People are getting burnt out from leverage, just like Leopold. Why would this happen? Well, you're leveraging the AI trade and you get burnt out on one quick sell-off. One quick deleveraging gets your portfolio margin call. Now, South Korean traders have reportedly lost 56 trillion won or $38.7 billion gambling on leveraged products during the recent bloodbath. That is almost $40 billion gambling on leverage alone. Now, what happened today? There's a couple of things that happened. First of all, Japan cut its 2026 GDP growth forecast from 1.3% to 0.9%, citing rising oil prices driven by the Iran crisis. Investors have warned that the Bank of Japan risks losing credibility in financial markets if it does not speed up its interest rate rises to contain inflation pressures after the yen slid to a 4-decade low. This was posted today by Financial Times, and what did we see? USD JPY absolutely get collapsed from 164 almost all the way down to 159. It actually came down to 158 even. Now, 164 was said to be the line in the sand for Bank of Japan to intervene. And what happened? We came right up to that level, and it looks to be an intervention. Now, I've said time and time again, if you don't know what this means for our short squeeze plays, the same thing Roaring Kitty came out with back in May of 2024 with his YouTube thumbnail is happening once again. It is the volatility within the carry trade that will cause these total return swaps to return back home. This short interest that is hidden, that is not reported by these third parties, to be covered. Now, that means bullish things for GameStop and AMC, which we'll talk about in 1 second. But it's not, everything is lining up just the way it was. First of all, there's a couple of differences right now, and it's the US dollar is collapsing against the yen. Now, the US dollar is collapsing against the yen, which means maybe there wasn't an intervention. First of all, we saw the Fed come out yesterday. There was a softer tone, kind of. Softer as in we held rates and he didn't hint at rate hikes. Cooler PCE came out today. U.S. June PCE inflation, the Fed's preferred inflation metric, falls to 3.7%, in line with expectations. Core PCE inflation fell to 3.3%, the second highest reading since October of 2024. And U.S. inflation continues to run at nearly double the Fed's 2% target. So not really great news. It just came in line with expectations. Markets are pricing in a more hawkish Bank of Japan coming into tomorrow, sending the yen sharply higher. So again, you have a weaker dollar against a stronger yen, and if Bank of Japan intervenes tomorrow, it'll only get worse. It'll only get worse for US assets. It'll only get worse for other institutions. Okay? This is what we should understand. USD JPY is plunging, increasing the risk of a carry trade unwind as leverage positions are reduced. Again, that is leverage positions being reduced. So we saw situational awareness LP or Leopold reportedly being under pressure after the AI sell-off. The fund is not only liquidating their assets, but they're seeking additional capital. They're seeking more capital, and they're reducing leverage. There is no way out of this that is completely clean cut and dry or clear, right? If leveraged AI funds continue deleveraging while the yen strengthens, AI infrastructure and semiconductor stocks could remain volatile. In other words, if Bank of Japan hikes tomorrow, we're probably going to see another nasty sell-off across the board on big semiconductor names. Now, Japan government bonds 10-year yield is also skyrocketing higher at 1.6%. We have the same exact situation brewing like we saw back in May of 2024. I'm going to take the brush and kind of show you. Look at this identical setup. What did we see? Well, leading into May 2024, we saw this peak, then we saw this peak retested, and then kind of retested again. What do we see? A peak, retested, kind of retested again, and at the same exact time, we saw USD, JPY, massive intervention right here, bang, dropped, right? And then right here as well, bang, dropped, right? Massive volatility. We saw massive volatility, and we're seeing the same thing. Beginning, massive volatility. We want this to continue, right? One drop in the bucket isn't going to trigger a short squeeze, but if Bank of Japan comes out tomorrow, they can absolutely do so. Now, I added more calls on GameStop. This is not financial advice. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I expect a very quick move to $25, and that is my expectation. Following that, I expect higher and higher moves on GameStop, all the way as high as $52 in a short period. I don't know what the catalyst will be, but I expect it to be some sort of gamma squeeze or short squeeze. And the same thing goes for AMC. Box office numbers are looking extremely well coming into the new Spider-Man movie that has not even been released yet. The Odyssey is absolutely killing it, which is what we expected. And AMC has not looked this bullish in a very long time. We're above $2. I want to give one brief warning that if we see a sell-off, it's likely going to be tomorrow or Monday. Now, why do I say that? Well, the RSI is reaching its overbought levels once again on AMC. Normally, when it does this, we have a little bit of a retracement. We saw it back here, retracement. We saw it back here, retracement. We saw it back here, same thing. Same thing. And now you're doing it again. Once we cool off, we could have that set up for another move higher alongside GameStop. Again, depends what the catalyst will be. Now, I figured this is a good segue to use from the corruption side of things into SpaceX. $1.67 billion worth of fails to deliver just came out on SpaceX stock in its rather short publicly traded history. No pun intended. They hate Elon Musk and the retail trader. Now, SpaceX is at 115, up 2.5%. If SpaceX at some point gets a close above 117.25, I think we could very quickly have a move up to 135 at its IPO price. But this is not telling you to buy, hold, or sell SpaceX. This is just my 2 cents. And at some point, there could be a short squeeze on SpaceX. Now, will that be on their earnings? Possibly, right? It'll be something that people least expect because SpaceX has not really had a solid earnings. Not even close to justify a $1.5 trillion market cap. But if they come out with massive new contracts and massive guidance, maybe we see some sort of short squeeze. And this leads me into the same thing. As we're getting this sort of dead cat bounce or relief rally in these markets, once you see a short squeeze and a very quick V-shaped recovery, that also takes bears out of the game. And that also is just better for our short squeeze plays. So I've said it and I'll say it again. Your number one friend here, if you want short squeezes to occur, and if you want big players to get screwed up, is volatility. That is your number one friend. Keep an eye on the VIX. Right now, the SPY is at 736.84. And what I can tell you is on the 4-hour, it looks somewhat decent, right? We recaptured this wedge. We're holding this wedge. We're up a full percent. Everything's all sunshine and rainbows. However, we got a cross. We got a death cross where the 50 and the 200 cross beneath each other on the 4-hour time frame, indicating more temporary downside. If the SPY closes under 733 today, that still is bearish. And even if it closes above, that is very, very cautiously neutral to bullish. Now, what I will say is you came back up, you tested this golden pocket on the 0.5 on the fib right here, and we got a rejection. Not good. We didn't even come up to get a full rejection at 741. We only came up to 739, which shows me that the SPY's relief rally is weaker than anticipated. I would have at least expected a stronger rally to test 741 and then get rejected from there. But so far, we didn't even do that. And if we do come up to there, watch for a rejection. Microsoft being up 15% obliterated the puts that I entered on Microsoft. You got to understand that these earnings trades are YOLO trades. They will cause emotional turmoil no matter if you're right or wrong. Reason being, if you're right, you get IV crush. You don't know what the contract is going to profit and by how much, depending on the move. It also depends on the strike price you buy. And all of these are a hit or miss. And I just do it because I think it's fun. I think the market closes. You want to have a little bit of fun. You want to get a little bit less sleep. And that's why I jumped into Amazon calls. That's not actually why, but I am up already on Amazon calls. Amazon does have a small gap fill up to 242, but that's not the target that I'm looking for. I'm looking for Amazon to come all the way up to 256.75. And if they have a blowout earnings, I want 290s on Amazon. I'm very bullish on Amazon over the next 12 months. I still have my shares even if we go down. And I would say normally you're probably better off betting against me, seeing that my past earnings trades for like the last 10 days have not gone as hot as they usually do. Normally we're pretty solid on these callouts. We have some nasty callouts on earnings, but I'm pretty confident on Amazon. And maybe you can hold me to this and flame me in the comments tomorrow morning on tomorrow morning's video if this doesn't pan out. But sit back and watch. Maybe you guys watch my position get cooked, or maybe you see something good out of it. Now, again, I am taking on the risk that as market closes today, this dead cat bounce or relief rally being over causes a bleed off into big tech names like Amazon. That is a major risk after market closes, and I want to put that out there. I also want to put out there, if you're trading SPY contracts, whether you're trading them close or far out, implied volatility is very high, okay? The premium you're paying for these contracts is unusually high for the SPY, and that is because of how volatile things are right now. Nobody really knows exactly the move that things are going to go. In fact, it will trade very quickly in short ranges where people can profit off of these contracts, but not if you're paying high premium for these contracts, right? Not if the Greeks are not in your favor unless you see a huge move. Now, APLD is up 18% still, trading at 27.43. However, we're rejecting off of resistance. Not necessarily what I would like to see. In fact, a lot of these stocks are doing that. And even if you look at Microsoft, we've had the same breakout back in October of 2025, and we had the same quote-unquote breakout back in early June of 2026, and now you're seeing the same quote-unquote breakout. Why is this dangerous? Well, because this would show you a top on Microsoft for the temporary time being. I'm going to hold my puts. I don't know if this top is a top, but I would love for a break back beneath this channel under 428 and then a further sell-off on Microsoft. It's looking less and less likely to occur, but again, anything is possible, especially seeing with what happened with Bloom Energy getting its rally 2 days after its earnings, which is absolutely disgusting. Now, AMD also got a pop, and if AMD closes above 475, that's pretty bullish. I actually really like that. NBIS is something we gave to Discord this morning when it was only up 15%, right around 175. It's now at 188.60. This thing is looking like a monster, and volume continues to come into it. Poet Our baby is up 10%, trading at 698. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer to be jumping on Poet at these levels, which is exactly what I've done. All in my opinion, not financial advice, again. And the same thing goes with SoFi. SoFi is at 1580, up 4.5%. I still believe it is also a no-brainer at these levels. Even if SoFi wanted to go lower, it is a no-brainer in my opinion. Overall, let me know what you're doing with Amazon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're not in my Discord server, make sure to join. Top link in the description. You can join through WAP or LaunchPass. Completely up to you. You guys will not regret it. Discord would likely pay for itself in the immediate short term. I set up scalp alerts in there in the morning alongside some stocks to watch. And we also have tons of AI trade alerts that pop off daily throughout the day, before market open, throughout market open, and after market close. We have the best people in there, best vibes, best family. There are no bad questions. Whether you're a beginner or advanced trader, this is the place to go. I promise you, you will have a good time, to say the least. Again, the vibes are high in the Discord server. It is not like other servers where you really don't get your money out of it and people just have a stick up, you know what. Again, if you want my custom pattern detection indicator, that link is down here as well. Go check it out. You can get it for 7 days for completely free. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.